In this video, I'm going to be going over the systems, environment, and techniques I would recommend for you as a wedding filmmaker when editing wedding films. Now, as a disclaimer, this video in specific won't be getting into the technicals of putting together a wedding film, but rather how to get yourself into a place where you can effectively and successfully get through a wedding film edit in days rather than weeks. Of course, I have more details in my system, the Backlog Buster, about actually editing wedding films faster. But for now, I want to dive into this video, which is part 2 of a 4-part series for wedding filmmakers on deep work. This is a talking head video meant for you to listen to more than watch, so sit back and enjoy the ride. Last time we talked about what exactly holds us back from getting wedding films done in a reasonable amount of time. It's our inability to focus for long stretches of time, and that we've assumed that backlog is just another part of being a wedding videographer. Well, I'm here to tell you that it shouldn't be, and to remind you that you have what it takes to get through it all yourself. Now, this week, we're going to be diving into building your editing environment and the rituals surrounding when you decide to sit down and finally start editing. Now, to get ourselves to actually sit down and get the editing done, we need to briefly start by hitting on the barrier to that entry of editing. Firstly, editing feels overwhelming. It's a daunting task to put together a wedding film from start to finish, finding the music to hitting export and everything in between. Because of this, I feel like we resort to doing easy stuff that is less daunting. It's the emails, the social media stuff, organizing the office. It's comfortable being in these shallow work tasks. Yet, like we talked about last week, we're not really moving the needle by doing this. So to be clear, our barrier to entry as wedding filmmakers of moving the needle, of getting the editing done, is our perception of how much work is needed to get done and how much that notion plays into us actually sitting down to do the work. But if we can push ourselves to just get started, I think we can get past that barrier of entry. At the beginning of an editing session, when you feel like pivoting or distracting yourself to shallow work tasks, tell yourself, hey, just get started. Just sit down and get started. Secondly, our environment is critical. When editing, cleanliness is a lot more important than you might think. You may not be the most tidy person, but a cluttered house, office, or car is a representation of a cluttered mind. We need to release everything before we edit, especially for wedding film, something so creative. So set a 10-minute timer before you start editing. Get rid of that trash, those coffee cups, and clean that workspace up so that you're ready to bring your A game to the table when you sit down to actually start editing. Continuing on the idea of environment, I suggest having your phone in a different room as well, and headphones as kind of what I like to call a focus cue to actually dive in and start editing. Your phone is, for sure, public enemy number 1 when diving into deep work of editing. So make it difficult to even interact with it. I know it might be hard, but just put it in a different room. And the headphones being a focus cue is similar to a soldier putting on a helmet when it's time to go into battle. Your headphones are the cue that it's time to get the work done. It's time to lock in, get started, and focus. Between having a clean office, removing your phone from the room, and using your headphones as a focus momentum shifter, you're probably so much better prepared for your editing session than you've ever been just by doing these 3 things to your environment. Very simple things, but they make a huge difference. Now, thirdly, I want to introduce you to something very important, and it's the idea of time blocking. Time blocking has revolutionized my productivity, and it's basically a time management technique that divides your day into concrete blocks of time, scheduling specific tasks for each block. And the biggest thing you have to remember with time blocking is you must honor it. In honoring the time block, you're honoring your goals. You show respect to your best self, and you make time for those things that are most important to you. And in specific, time blocking for deep focus editing for wedding films is incredibly important. It's paramount. It's the only real way to get your editing done instead of just operating off when you feel like editing. Treat these deep work, time-blocked sessions with the same respect you treat a wedding day booking. Immovable and required for you to be a part of. No shallow work task can overtake this time because you've allotted for it appropriately. I've started using time blocking for everything in my life, and it's insane how much more productive I am when I'm not just intentional with what the goal is, but how I accomplish it. Let me say that one more time. It's insane the difference that I see in my life in setting my goals when I not only focus on what the goal is, but how I'm going to get it done. The how is how you're using your time, and that's where time blocking comes in. I suggest 1 to 2 hour time blocks for editing to start and increase as you get better at deep focused work. If you protect these hours like gold, you'll be shocked by how much progress you make. And fourth and finally, as we already hit on briefly, set up rituals and mind cues surrounding your editing time. A ritual sounds kind of weird to be talking about in regards to editing wedding films, but in practice, all it really is getting your coffee ready, or grabbing your favorite drink before heading back to the office, starting the playlist as you get your office space ready, putting on the headphones, even closing your office door, putting your phone on the kitchen table, and taking like 5 deep breaths before diving in can all be very powerful rituals and mental cues. Rituals flip the switch from distraction to focus faster than willpower ever will. So divide your rituals into pre and post editing mind cues. We just listed off a few pre-edit rituals, but for post editing, I'd suggest jotting down what you finished, taking a moment to reflect on what you accomplished during that time block of editing. Even stretching and taking a 5-minute walk outside can all be effective and great post-edit rituals. Remember guys, deep work in finishing wedding films doesn't just happen. You build the conditions for it. Change in the macro starts with micro task. While a 1 to 2 hour editing session won't get rid of your backlog of 15 films, over time, day after day, week after week, you'll be blown away by the progress you see from your very own consistency and sticking to the what and how of your goals. As this video comes to a close, I want to offer you a couple tools that might help you in the journey of editing that will really complement you in condensing editing time tremendously. First, it's my approach and strategy, which you heard me talk about in the beginning of this video, for actually editing faster than ever before. It's called the Backlog Buster, and you can get it today to really launch yourself into a successful editing season after watching these videos. And secondly, I've made music foundations and timelines for wedding filmmakers. Altogether, I've made 20 different timelines that give you a wide range of options for your edits, all while cutting out all the time you'd spend searching for music, cutting it up, and layering it with other songs in your mix. It's all done for you with 70+ music bed songs to use throughout the 20 different timelines. You can find the links to check out both of those in the description of this video. And as always, thanks for watching these videos. I hope you're encouraged more than ever to get your editing done, to honor yourself, and to get rid of all your backlog. I'm Stanton Giles, and I'll see you guys next week for part 3 of Deep Work for Wedding Filmmakers.